So the quote-unquote peace president is back at it again today because Donald Trump held a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to roll out a new Gaza peace plan. And again, Donald Trump is the peace president. He ended 7 wars, as you all know. 7 wars, none of which he can even name, some of which occurred between countries that don't even exist, and other wars which never even happened. But that's besides the point, because he's all about making a deal. And the deal he's putting forward with this peace plan is a mixed bag, to say the least. Some will say it's unrealistic. Others will say it's a realization of Trump's desire to make like a Trump hotel in Gaza and like turn it into the Riviera that he and his business partners own. Whatever. There's a few good things in here. There's a bunch of horrible things in here. But honestly, I want you to hear it all from the words of Donald Trump himself, because he put on this press conference to sell the deal, I guess. And it was the most slurring, incoherent thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying that in the grand scheme of things. I mean, even on the scale of Trump incoherency, it was incoherent. I mean, the guy just sounded sick. He sounded tired. He sounded like he didn't even read the deal that he was announcing, to be honest, because he was just staring at his paper the whole time. But the whole thing was just very, very bizarre. And of course, it ended with him fleeing the press rather than taking any questions, as everyone just wanted to get him and Netanyahu out of there. But again, don't take it from me. I want you to hear it from Donald Trump himself. So let's start off with him recounting the success of his Abraham Accords from his first term as president, which, as we all know, was clearly very effective in preventing further conflict in the Middle East.
Then I have, in addition to negotiating the Abraham Accords, I like to say it that way because the real people, that's what they call Abraham. I would say Abraham. But it's so much nicer when you say Abraham. So much more elegant.
Yes, the Abraham Accords, not the Abraham Accords, because as we all know, Donald Trump is an incredible student of religious history and the Hebrew language. So much more elegant, he says, as there is literally laughter in the room because of how much of a buffoon this guy is. But yeah, the Abraham Accords, what a great deal for Trump from his first administration. Which again, when did his first administration start, by the way? Donald?
It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal that they back this 100%. President El-Sisi of Egypt, who's terrific. And these are people I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, I would say it started around 2015 and then went into 2016 when the presidency officially began.
Yeah, 2015 we met him, but 2016 when my presidency began. Except you took office in 2017, man. 2017, that's when you became president. But I mean, again, is this any surprise? Just yesterday, he was posting AI videos of himself. So yeah, I would say he doesn't know when his first presidency started. That would be a given at this point. But let me not engage in too much partisan hackery. At the end of the day, this is a question of substance, not style. That's what this announcement is about. So tell us, Donald, who is going to oversee this new peace plan and ensure its full implementation?
To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it.
Yes, a new international oversight body known as a Board of Peace, headed, of course, by Donald J. Trump himself, which a lot of people were asking him to do it. A lot of people in this plan that he wrote, or his advisors wrote, let's be honest, I don't think he read it himself. But in this plan promoted by Donald Trump, it actually says Donald Trump should be in charge. Wow, this is incredible. It's a board of peace where nations come together to be united and oversee international affairs. You could even call it a United Nations of sorts. Oh wait, we already have one of those. So why don't you just use the UN to implement this deal? Oh, right, because Donald Trump fucking hates the UN. Because the UN hates him back. Because every other country on Earth hates him. And not because, oh, he's just so good at putting America first. No. He puts America last at every junction. He's just so corrupt and so incompetent. He's just impossible to deal with. Unless, of course, you have a plane or some crypto to give him or whatever. But again, perhaps I'm being too partisan. After all, there are a lot of reasons why the UN as a body can't be trusted and why we need a new international organization led by Donald Trump instead.
The President of the United States, I'm looking at my teleprompter, and the thing was dead, stone cold, dead. The thing's up here. I have a long, beautiful speech to make. I'm back 30 feet back, and I'm saying, they're introducing me. There's nothing on my teleprompter. So, but I made a speech. I actually got good marks. You think Biden could have done that? I don't think so. I don't think he could have done that. I don't think too many people could have done it. But actually, it was actually more of a speech from my heart, if you want to know the truth. I think it was maybe better in certain ways because it was from the heart.
Yes, he's still not over teleprompter gate, and probably the escalator too. I swear to God, I think there is a non-zero chance that this whole Board of Peace got shoehorned into this deal at the end of it because Donald Trump refused to go through the UN or give them even a shred of legitimacy after the escalator stopped. I actually got good marks from the speech. Bro, from who? Look, there's no report card. What, you got back to the White House and all your advisors, all your North Korean advisors were clapping you up and you're like, wow, guys, I gave a great speech? Such a fucking embarrassment, dude. But who knows? Again, Donald Trump, like I mentioned before with the plane and the crypto, he knows how to make a deal.
And I want to thank Qatar, its leadership, and the Emir. He's a fantastic person. I think, I'm going to be his public relations man because I know him differently than a lot of people know him. But he wants peace. He wants to see peace. And his people, and they really acknowledge the critical role that they've played as mediator.
Oh, I'm sure you are going to be his public relations man, Donald. After all, what's a little Boeing 747 between friends, a little flying palace in the sky for yours truly. To be clear, what Donald Trump means by fantastic person here means he gave me $400 million and a plane is what that means. Just a little quid pro quo between friends. Nothing wrong with that. And again, what else could Donald Trump possibly have to say? When it comes to global leadership, he is the expert. Any other observations for us, Donald?
I can't say in all cases, but I will tell you in many cases, they're great men and some great women too. They tend to be mostly men, however, I will say that.
Yeah, why not just throwing a little sexist bullshit at the end there? It's Donald Trump. He just can't help himself. It's all he's got is this stupid machismo bullshit. And honestly, this is at least the part of the press conference where he comes into his own a little bit because he's not just reading off his talking points about what's in the Gaza peace plan anymore and gets to just be himself, which is his usual misogynistic ass. And that's pretty much all we got, folks. A peace plan so great at a press conference so incredible that you don't even answer questions about the peace plan to the press at the press conference.
Get everybody in line. I think it maybe is not really appropriate to take questions. I'm meeting with, as you know, a couple of Democrats in a little while about the country, about keeping our country open. They're going to have to do some things because their ideas are not very good ones. They're very bad for our country. So we'll see how that works out. But this is something that was really historic today. This was something that was amazing. I think, Bibi, depending on you, I think while we're waiting for signatures and waiting for approvals from a lot of different countries that are involved in this, we probably shouldn't take questions? Or would you like to take a question or two from perhaps a friendly Israeli reporter, if there's such a thing?
That's a very, very tough proposition. But I would think, Mr. President, that I would go by your instinct that this is, we'll have enough time for questions. Let's settle the issue first, I think. No.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Just thrown on the pile of norms that Donald Trump shredded up, the idea that a press conference is a place where you answer questions from the press was kind of, how it has always been until now. But yeah, it's not appropriate to answer questions at this time as we announce this deal that's going to require the buy-in of probably 100 countries, and we don't have any of that yet. Nor do you have any other idea about how you're going to implement it or who the partners are going to be or how long it's going to take. So why would you answer questions? Why would you ever let reality seep into this sham announcement that you were having so much fun with? What, for a few pesky questions? No. Nah, Donald Trump doesn't do that. Not so much a press conference as it was a photo op. And trust me, we're going to be monitoring this situation very closely, because if Israel lets this peace deal, whatever you want to call it, immediately fall apart in 5 seconds, which they have done many times in the past, we will be there to say something. Donald Trump doesn't get to call himself the peace president as the world goes into flames around him and he orders invasions of American cities. He's full of shit. So yeah, in hindsight, I wouldn't have answered questions either.